they read these newsletters and they get a sense that your studio or your gym wants people who are a little older, values them, can train them, and is going to provide a user experience, a customer experience that is what they're looking for. Because again, they don't want the big empty room full of weights and boys grunting. They don't, if they do, they can go somewhere else and get that, right? You have an opportunity to create something better and charge them more money for it. And I'm not talking about Shangri-La or an old folks home. I'm just talking about an attention to them as individuals and to their tastes.
You're an inspiration to our entire organization.
Welcome to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast. We're going to be talking the done-for-you marketing and sales strategies proven to work with boutique fitness gyms to increase quality lead flow and grow your revenue. Don't try to be a professional marketer and waste tons of money. Let the experts at Lasso do it for you. And now, here are your hosts, Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks.
Another episode of Gym Marketing Made Simple with Blake and Sherman. Today we have a special guest, Jay Croft of Prime Fit Content. Now, Jay specializes in helping 50-plus-year-olds. And we're excited about this because you guys know that we help people of all ages. We help the gyms find the right people. But before we dive into it, Jay, thanks for hanging out with us, buddy. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure. Nice to see you.
So, Jay, someone that, I'm going to allow you a couple minutes or so to sort of introduce yourself,
sure.
Right? Just for people that don't know you.
Sure. Okay, super. Well, thanks. So my name's Jay. I'm 61 years old. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I've been doing fitness marketing communications for 6 years after spending a lot of years in mass media and corporate communications for large companies. So I was a newspaper reporter and editor for about 20 years, concluded my career here at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. And then, newspapers kind of died about 15 years ago. And so after that happened, I drifted into corporate communications and sat at a cubicle and worked 8 to 5 and fought traffic every day and slowly went out of my mind until I decided to create my own business, which is called Prime Fit Content. And I am not a trainer and I don't own a gym. Like I said, I was a reporter for a long time. And after that, I worked at some big companies and then at WebMD and CNN. My background is in communications and writing and editing and putting together what we now call content. I'm old enough to remember when we just called it articles and photos and stuff, and now it's content. Yeah. Everything's content. So I'm a content creator and communications expert. And my business, Prime Fit Content, helps gyms and studios and trainers reach clients who are older. And by older, I mean about 50 and over. Some people might say 45, some people might say 55. To me, I'm talking about that point in life in which women are going through or have recently gone through menopause. Men are starting to get thick around the middle. If you guys haven't experienced it yet, but I have. It happens, trust me. And you're starting to have grandkids, or at least your kids have left the home. You're retired or you're getting close to retirement. So that age, and then onward and above, all the way up to in the 70s and 80s. Yeah. And the reason I do this is because when I turned 50, I noticed that fitness marketing no longer seemed interested in me. And it's hard to put a finger on it, but you know it when it happens. And the best way I can describe it is that when you're driving in a car with teenagers and they're singing along to the songs and you have no idea who the singers are or what the songs are. Have you experienced that yet? It's like that because you grow out of it, And so I grew out of fitness marketing. And then I thought, well, you guys are missing the boat here because there's like 100 and some odd million people my age and over in this country who want to have good lives and who, thanks to longevity, we're going to live to be 90 at least. So we want to stay fit. We want to stay strong. We want to maintain our autonomy and our quality of life. And the best way to do that, as you two know, is to maintain your strength and agility and endurance. So more and more fitness professionals are getting wise to this, and they're turning to me to help them reach that market. That's what I do.
No, that's exciting. Now, so to answer your question, I have a 16-year-old son
Yeah.
that plays basketball in high school, and I'm an assistant coach for his basketball team. So, yes, I've reached that stage.
Yes, it just happens.
These kids talk about stuff and sing stuff, and I'm just like, what are they talking about? I
Yeah.
have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea.
And it's because pop music is for kids. And the fitness industry traditionally has been for young boys. And by young boy, I should say young men, 25-year-olds who
Yeah.
want big muscles. And I don't, that's great, go for it. But that market's covered, man. There, it's easy. And as a business model, it's been done. You have a big room, you put a lot of weights in it, you charge boys $25 a week or a month to come in and throw weight around and crank up the heavy metal and the hip hop and look at themselves in the mirror, and there you go.
Yeah.
And that's great if
Yeah.
that's what you want to do, but there's a whole other market that's much more lucrative. You can make a lot more money working with people who are older, have more time, more money to spend, and demand a higher level of service, and will pay for that higher level of service.
No, that's good. That's good. So, I think like I told you last time we talked, we specifically at Lasso, like with some of our gyms, we run we run a fit over 40, fit over 50,
Yeah.
that type of thing right there, because we do believe there's an entire market out there that is looking for fitness, but they want it to be the right way. Like you're saying, they're not necessarily looking to jump in and lift as lift the weights as heavy and as
Yeah.
fast as possible, but they still want to be in shape. They
Yes.
still want to be part of a community. So um, I believe Blake, like what if we've had some good success with the fit over
Yeah.
programs and
I think one thing too, like not all, like you mentioned, not a lot of people are marketing to this
Right.
demographic, right? So, but I do think there's a question here that give a lot of value to the listeners would be, Jay, when they do have a lot more questions, I would say, right, than probably a 25 or 30-year-old about a program. Because well, they have I don't want to say more life experience,
Yeah.
I would say, so they have more questions. So we do find that the warming up phase, especially for like colder traffic or even coming in, because they're really going to like make an educated decision. They're not going to like kind of go on like impulse a little bit. They're going
Right.
to like make sure it's the right fit. So what would you suggest? Would you say that like texting them, calling them, what information do you feel like, they have to have before they come in and try your gym or to buy your service?
Right. It's a great question. I think the first thing to address is that you acknowledge in that question that very few people buy right away. We're not talking about Planet Fitness for $10 a month, right? We're talking about a gym or a studio that's costing a little money, and so you want to be sure it's the right fit for you. So you want to get to know and like and trust that gym or studio or even trainer perhaps before you come in and lay down your money. And so one of the ways that I recommend is through email newsletters. So you all know about email lead magnets. You put up a lead magnet, you get people's email addresses, you start sending them your email newsletters a couple of times a week. And they read these newsletters and they get a sense that your studio or your gym wants people who are a little older, values them, can train them, and is going to provide a user experience, a customer experience that is what they're looking for. Because again, they don't want the big empty room full of weights and boys grunting. They don't, if they do, they can go somewhere else and get that, right? You have an opportunity to create something better and charge them more money for it. And I'm not talking about Shangri-La or an old folks home. I'm just talking about an attention um, to them as individuals and to their tastes, and I'll give you a story. You guys are too young for this to happen yet again, but it will. You will walk into a gym one day and no one will look at you. And maybe you've noticed this with women. You probably both are too young too, but there'll come a point in your life where women won't see you anymore. And up until now, women see you and they kind of look at you and they think yes, no, maybe, right? And when
yeah.
you walk into a gym, they look at you and they think, oh, there's money. There's a guy who might want to join my gym. Let me pay attention to him. After you hit about 50 or so, those things stop and people don't see you anymore. and you walk into a gym and the teenager behind the counter doesn't look up from his phone. If he does, he just kind of nods and grunts at you, right? And then the music is hip hop or heavy metal. It's ear splittingly loud. The gym is full of young guys in noodle tops and girls in booty shorts posing in front of the mirrors, and it's intimidating, and you're not welcome. So why would I go there? But if I see in your email newsletters and on your website and your social media accounts that you have a more um, customer focused approach that includes people like me,
Yeah.
and again, I'm talking about people like me. I'm 61, and I don't want to go to a place that's full of obnoxious kids. But neither do I want to go to a place that's going to call me grandpa and tell me I'm cute and call me silver and golden and all that crap, right? I'm still young enough that I want a good gym, and I've got money enough to
Yeah.
pay for it. So you need to show me who you are, what your values are, what your skill level is, that you've got some skill that you can train me. It's easy to train a 25-year-old boy who wants muscles. It's a little more interesting to train a 65-year-old deconditioned overweight woman who's retired from her desk job after 40 years and is heartbroken because she can't get down on the floor and play with her grandbaby. And she comes to you because she wants to go skiing with her grandkids, or she wants to go hiking in Europe like she dreamt of in college, and now she finally can, but she's fat and out of shape. That's really powerful stuff for everybody, for
Yep.
you and for them. So you need to communicate to them in your email newsletters, on your social media, and on your website that you can and want to provide all of that for them. And then as far as texting and emails go, I think that is a really interesting question, because some people will advise you to text. And some
Jay, we
people
talked about this. We talked about this on your podcast. I want to hear you go with this. Yes, I like this.
and
Go,
some
yeah.
people say call. And I say do it all, because everybody's different. There's not one way to get everybody anymore. There just isn't. I think you want to reach out. And I think people who are a little older, 50, 60, 70, and then that age range, are more likely to talk on the phone because that's how we grew up. I think 20-year-olds don't talk on the phone. Do kids call anyone? Do your teenagers call people? I don't know. I think they just text
No.
everybody, right? So it's
Text.
kind of different. Older people will talk on the phone, but they're not scared of texting either, especially when you're talking about, 50-year-olds. So it kind of depends on what works for your avatar. If you want 50-year-olds, yeah, text them. If you want 80-year-olds, maybe call them. It's just kind of different on who they are. But the point is to use all the communications outlets at your disposal. Call them, write them, send them email, put stuff on your website, put stuff on Facebook, put stuff on Instagram, send a postcard, go to your Chamber of Commerce, do cross marketing with other businesses in your area who service older people with money. Do all of this, because there's just not one way to get everybody anymore. I wish there were. I think there are three that are most effective, and those three are your website, your Facebook, and your email. That's what I focus on with Prime Fit content.
Man, so here's the thing. I like at first when you were like email content, I'm just like, bro, like no one's reading
Yes,
email.
they are.
Now, here's the thing though. Like one of my best friends, he's 59, right? So I'll say stuff to him, and he'll be like, well, I'm just gonna go on the website and read it. Or they sent me an email, I'm gonna find that email and read it. And I'm just like, bro, what are you doing? Like, just freaking just no. But that is the way that your age demographic like responds to stuff. So,
Yeah.
and I think that the gym industry, sort of like you're saying, in particular, we've sort of gotten used to doing it one way.
Yeah.
So we just think because that one way is the bulk of the people. But if we're trying to hit the 50, 60, 70-year-old market, we have to communicate the way that they're going to receive the content. And I do believe that email is a way, because honestly, I was talking to my buddy last night, and we were booking the ski trip I was telling you about. And he sent me 3 emails with the confirmation. I'm just like, bro, just freaking take a screenshot and send it to me. But that's the way he communicates.
Yes.
That's the
way he communicates. And proves my point. everybody's
Yep.
different. You got to hit them where they are. Um, that's what's so great about the way we live now with communications. It's also the big challenge, because it used to be you just put something in the newspaper and everyone in town saw it.
Yeah.
It doesn't work anymore. There's a lot of different ways to do it. And so it's on you to be where they are. And by they, I mean who you want. We're talking
Yeah.
about the older market. If you want to target teenagers, then you have to be where teenagers are. And that might be TikTok, because they don't read. Or maybe it's if you want to target young women who are having babies and want to stay, in good shape while they're going through pregnancy and afterward, then that's a different market. That's a different place to reach them. You got to decide who you want to help, and then you have to put your message where they are already.
I think one big thing you said too is like we get people that like want to hit that demographic for like personal training and things like that,
Yeah.
more customized programming. But then you go to their social media, you go to their website, and they have no images of anybody that age. It's all like young people lifting heavy weights. And I'm like, nobody's going to, like, it doesn't matter what marketing I do, because these people are going, like you said, are going to do more research. And they're going to be like, they don't have anybody that looks like me. They're just
Yeah.
like, is this a scam? First off, probably is what one thing they're thinking. And B, like, can they even help me? It's like I said, it's not there a more, I mean, some of them, like we all say, more life experience usually means, somebody's going to make a better choice in life, right? Because they've been through a lot and they've probably bought things that like they regret. So that life experience, they're going to do more research. And if you're not having on your website, on your social media marketing, on, your emails, like talking about testimonies like them, people like them, what you can do for them, they're not going to even give you a chance or waste their time, right? Because like they're the ones that like, like you said, probably going to hop on a phone call. They're like, I'm not going to waste my time getting on a phone call when they don't even have people like me on their website. So I think that's a huge thing for people to hear, is like, if you're trying to hit that demographic, your social media and your website, and I say this all the time, you have to go through your website with a fine-tooth comb and be like, would somebody reading that age group, and like you could even ask somebody, send it to your mom, send it to your like your 50-year-old client, does my website resonate with you? And they're like, no, you have a bunch of 30-year-olds like working out heavy weights. Doesn't resonate at all, right?
Right. No, they can, even if they don't want to send it to their mom or their cousin or something, send it to me and I'll do that for you. I do this for, no, seriously, I do this for gyms who want to work with me. I'll audit their or just review, break down, whatever, their website and some of their other communications. And Blake, you are right. I can't tell you how many times I start working with a gym that's been in business for a while and can't figure out why they're not getting the older people with money. And I look at their website and I say, there's nothing on this website to indicate that you want people over 50. All the images are stock images that you downloaded off the internet of not just young people, but really sexualized images of young people. I mean, you can be young and fit and just, in a tank top, or you can be young and fit and glistening in sweat with lighting just so, and the, abs rippling and Brad Pitt, right? Or whoever the younger version of Brad Pitt is. I don't know who that boy is, but it's not just that they're young, it's that they're sexualized in those really typical sexual ways. And you just think, there's nothing here. Your copy, your headline should immediately say, the Tri-County area's only gym for people over 50, or our city's only gym that caters to mature women or women after menopause or men, et cetera. You got to say that right away, just like you would do for anyone. And let's go on the opposite age spectrum. And if you wanted to target talented teenage athletes, or specifically their parents, because the parents will be the one paying the money. Every parent wants their kid to get a scholarship to college, and some of them are good enough. And so those parents will spend the money and take the time to give their kid that extra edge to get the scholarship. And they'll send the kid to a trainer or a gym that specializes in that, right? So if the parent and the kid look at the website and it's a bunch of 30-year-olds, well, you might as well be 80 if you're to a teenager, if you're 30, right? Or if it's just got, you need to have pictures of teenagers and their parents and their coaches, and maybe in a college setting or something that shows them aspiring to be who your avatar wants to be. And so, Blake, that's such an excellent point. Your photos and your text, particularly your headlines, the big text immediately, the first page, the first screen on your homepage better say exactly who you are trying to help.
Yep.
And then your images need to back it up.
And I would say too, maybe you do hit many demographics, right? So like
Yeah,
when I had my CrossFit
sure.
gym, I had a lot of personal training clients, easily over the age of 60. You could create a separate website
Yes.
and just target them and send those people to that. So that way you're hitting both demographics, because it is really like, say you have a CrossFit gym or a boutique style gym that's focused on strength training for sub 40, but then you're like, I really want to do high end PT. Create two different websites, and that is for what you send your older clientele.
Yep.
And then for your other one, because it is like, if you went to a website and you're like, oh, CrossFit, like, but if you're over 50, click here, right? Like, be like, oh, that's a little confusing. But if you just have two different websites and dedicated to those, then you can really differentiate those two and be like, yeah, we do that, but like, we also do high end PT when we're not running classes, doing things like that. Because, I grew my personal training business was very, very influential people just through word of mouth, because I will say that the 50 age group and above, even the 60s and above, they are thinking about longevity. So they're not looking to PR, do things like that. Like they're looking to, like, my client was like, I want to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro for the third time. Okay, we're going to do a bunch of step ups and like just work on that. And like, they have very specific goals, but they're just thinking, I want to live longer. Right. So they will pay a premium because A, they have the money, B, they know how important it is because they probably had one or two health scares already.
Yeah.
And they understand that, like, hey, this is worth my investment, because I had one guy say it in this, you can either pay the doctor or you can pay the farmer. But in this case, you can pay the personal trainer, right? Yeah. So you can pay somebody else to like keep you in shape, or you can end up paying for a lot of medical bills. And they understand that concept.
Yes, that's a good point. People say, oh, I can't afford a gym. I can't afford a trainer. It's like, yeah, but you can afford to go to the bar, and you can afford the pizza, and you can afford to sit on your ass all weekend. And, you can afford to die when you're 50 and leave your children without their parents. You can afford to do all of that, but you can't afford to go to the gym. Yeah. Make better choices.
Yeah. No. You're right. So, Jay, tell me this, because I think we have time for another question or so. But let's say that someone's listening to this. What would be 2 to 3 pieces of advice you would give them if they were like, Jay, I'm loving this. I'm not quite ready to reach out to you yet, Jay. But like, what could we give them? 2 or 3 pieces of 2 or 3 things that would just help them get in front of the right demographic that they're trying to target, as you are.
Yeah, that's a great idea, and I think we've given them a lot. Blake I got to give Blake. You've come up with some of the best ones in the questions that you've been giving me. I would say number one, send email. Send email a lot. People will. The number one thing that I hear from gym owners is, I don't want to send email. I don't like reading email, so I don't want to send email. Well. To which I respond, I don't care what you like. I care what your intended customer likes, and they like to read good stuff. And if you don't want to send junk and you don't want to be a spammer, then don't send junk and don't send spam. Send useful, relevant, interesting information that they will find of value. That means not advertising how great you are, how cheap you are, how whatever you are. It means good material. So send emails twice a week at least. That leads to the next thing, is you got to have a good email lead magnet. You guys probably talk about this all the time. And then, I think the most important thing, perhaps, after marketing, after getting their attention, is treating them like you want to be treated. Yeah. And by that, I mean, look them in the eye and say, hello, John. It's nice to see you. Let's talk. And then listen to them and ask them why they're there. I want to lose 20 pounds. Oh, why do you want to lose 20 pounds? Well, I don't know. My wife is on me. Oh, why is your wife on me? Well, our daughter's getting married in 6 months and my wife says I'm fat. Oh, let's talk about that. And you keep asking and you keep asking and you keep listening and you keep getting down to what their motivation is. There's something, because as one or both of you said, by the time you're this age, you got stuff. You've been through
Yeah.
some a divorce, or you've had a health scare, or your kids are pissed off at you for some reason, or whatever. Your career tanked, or your career went through the roof and everything's cool, but you're overweight because of it, whatever. So you've got to get to know those people, not viewing them as senior citizens or golden oldies or silver sneakers or any of that nonsense. It's ridiculous. Do I look like a golden oldie? I mean, I might. I don't know. I don't feel like one. They don't feel like it
Yeah.
either. They don't.
Yeah.
And they are vital, interesting, unique people with money to spend if you give them a reason to spend it.
No, that's good. That's good. Now, I know that you have a podcast because I like it. Where can they listen to you talk even more about this?
Yes,
Because I know
sir.
some people are going to be very interested in that.
Okay, great. Yeah, you were kind enough to come on my podcast a couple weeks ago, and thank you. That was great. That got a lot of good downloads and view numbers on my YouTube version. So the name of my podcast is Optimal Aging. It's on anywhere you get podcasts, and I just have a YouTube version that I just started a few weeks ago. The name of my business is Prime Fit Content. So that's primefitcontent.com. You can email me there at jay@primefitcontent.com. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn and all the rest.
All right. Good. Well, Jay, we're going to get out of here. Seriously, thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. All right. So,
Yeah, it's been great.
Guys, as always, tell a friend to tune in, and we will chat with you guys next week.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast with Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks. We hope you enjoyed. We believe marketing should increase revenue and not waste money. So book your free call today. Head on over to lassoframework.com. That's lassoframework.com and find the right words, get more customers, and increase your revenue. We'll see you here next time.